record this on a computer. Okay. Yeah, this will download on my computer once we finish it, and then I can put it on the group. That's a good idea, Chuck.
Okay, great.
Chuck, have you been to OB Noodle House?
Oh yeah, many, many times, probably over 100 times. It's only a 2-minute walk from my house.
Oh, no way.
And I've actually been going there since, let me think, 2009. I literally have been there probably
Wow.
300 times, something like that.
VIP status.
It's pretty good. I mean, the food is so good there. I'm guessing you like it if you mentioned it.
I've only been twice, but both times were a rockin' fun time. So
yeah, it's
always,
a really fun place.
It's like, it's the only place I know in OB, really.
Yeah, I was actually there yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So
they have to give you like a rewards card or something.
I know. I wish they had something like that. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Stacy and Sky, just curious, what do you guys do for a living? You said you work together. Social media marketers. Cool. Yep, social media. It's a love and hate relationship for me.
Yeah, I might actually, I don't know if you guys are looking for new clients, but I have a new SEO client here in Encinitas, and he's looking for someone to handle his social media. And I put him in contact with one of my colleagues, and I don't know if he ended up hiring her. So I would love to get your contact information. That is, if you are accepting new clients, so I can pass it along to him. Okay, great. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I have 12:05, so I'm thinking.
As do I.
Yeah.
So let's kick things off. We'll do intros, whatever you guys can intro. Stacy and Sky, if you can't talk on your mic, that's fine. If you can type a little bit, that's fine too. So no worries, no pressure. But we'll do intros, and then we're gonna pass it off to our boy Chuck, who's gonna do a little deep dive into Yoast plugin and how they use that to benefit your SEO. Yep, go Chuck. I know, right? Chuck, boy Chuck. Yeah, Chuck Liddell, baby. And then we'll do some Q&A. And then after that, we're going to riff on just what everyone's working on, what you're struggling with, and how we can each help each other out. Because that's what this is all about, is helping each other grow. SEO is a team sport. Google does not tell us their secrets, so we have to work together to figure them out to make money, pretty much. So I guess I'll start since I'm talking. My name's Alex. It says Drs. Kira and Susanna on my Zoom, because that's my wife, not my wives. Only one of them is my wife, but it's my wife and her sister. They're both chiropractors, and they Zoom, and this is their Zoom account. So that is that. But I live in San Diego, California. I've been doing SEO for 2 years now. I started doing my own website in real estate, fell in love with it, had some success. It transformed our real estate business in terms of leads. And then last year I started an SEO agency, got up to 9 clients, worked myself to the bone, got overloaded and burnt out, and then said, I don't want to do this anymore. And now I'm just back to doing SEO for our real estate business again, and my wife's chiropractic business, and just looking to learn and connect and add value to everyone.
Awesome. I'll jump in. And I didn't realize that you were married to a chiropractor. So I find that really, really interesting. My name is Chuck, and right now I'm in my home office in Ocean Beach neighborhood of San Diego. And
beautiful office.
Yeah. So it's one of those fake Zoom backgrounds. I don't really have that view. I'm only 3 blocks from the beach, but in any event, I have to apologize. I'm actually working on my patio today. And so one bad thing about OB is we're in the flight path of Lindbergh Field. So you may hear some jets in the background as they take off. But yeah, so I'm a WordPress consultant and an SEO consultant. And um, with chiropractic, I actually worked for 5 years for a company here in San Diego called Internet Matrix. And I worked specifically on the chiropractic team. And that's where I really got my feet wet with SEO. So I know quite a bit about chiropractic SEO, and I have quite a few chiropractic clients that I've helped get high on Google. So I can definitely help you with that, Alex. And then let's see what else. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's let either Stacy or Sky jump in and introduce themselves.
Feel free to chat or speak, whatever's easiest. And if you can't really do either, you can just let us know that too, and we can move on to the next. But I bet the nightlife company is pretty stiff competition, I'd imagine, in Vegas. Cool. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Awesome you're tuning in from Vegas together. So cool. So let's pass it off to Chuck, see what he has to say about Yoast, the plugin, and how it can benefit your website and get you ranked better on Google.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate it. Yeah, so interesting. You guys are in Vegas. My wife was in Vegas last weekend with her family, and then we have some friends staying with us right now. And guess where they're going today? They're driving to beautiful Las Vegas. So in any event, my name again is Chuck, and whoop, whoop. My website, I'm going to put it into the chat. It's dancingpandamarketing.com, and I help people with WordPress and with SEO. And one of the reasons that I picked WordPress as a platform is for the SEO. And it looks like, not to stop my presentation, but because I barely even got started, I want to welcome Juan. It looks like Juan has just logged in. Hola, Juan. Hi, Juan. How are you? I don't know if you can hear us.
Yes, yes. Hello, good afternoon. Hi, thank you very much for letting me be here.
Oh, we're glad you're.
Sorry,
Yes.
my name is Juan and I'm from Mexico. I'm actually in Mexico City. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, yes. So we just got started and we just finished. Everyone spent about a minute to introduce themselves. So if you want, tell us a little bit more about your interest in SEO or your business. Do you want to give us a little more background on what you're up to down there in Mexico City?
Yes, of course. Well, I am a Java developer since 1999. And also I know about HTML and CSS, but I started working with WordPress from the beginning of the pandemic. And from that time, I have a couple of clients that I do the WordPress websites. So now I am interested in learn SEO to get better results on the SERPs.
Okay, outstanding. Great. Well, I'm actually just getting ready to start a presentation on using the Yoast plugin for SEO. And so I'm going to attempt to share my screen, and I'll just go ahead and get started. We're glad you're here, Juan.
Thank you.
Okay, so Alex, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I think you have to go into the security button, and then there's an option.
Try it now.
Okay. And I apologize. I don't know if you guys can hear the jet that's flying overhead.
No,
But
you're good.
okay, good. Can you guys see my screen right now? Okay, great. So I want to show you guys a little bit about the Yoast plugin, and I don't want to monopolize all the time here. So I see it's about 12:15. I'll try to stop at around 12:30, 12:35. So Alex, if I go over, just say, okay, Chuck, we've had enough of you. But in any event, so when I started my company, I wanted to try to get ranked under a very specific phrase. And because I'm a WordPress tutor, the phrase that I went after was San Diego WordPress tutor. And so I've just typed that into a Google search, and you'll see there's some people doing some pay-per-click up here. And the way you know these are pay-per-click results is because it has the word ad. And then looks like there's 3 people doing pay-per-click. And then if you scroll down, you'll see my website comes up first in the map section. And then if you go below that, I also show up as the first true organic result. So I want to show you a little bit about how I use Yoast to get that ranking. And what is exciting to me about this ranking is it generates phone calls for me. People are definitely searching this phrase. Now, if you look at the keyword volume, it will show as 0, but trust me, it's not 0. I probably get 12 to 15 leads per year, 1 or 2 a month, and they're high quality leads. These are people specifically looking for what I offer. So one thing I want you to notice about this organic result is what Google found here was actually not the home page. It actually found this landing page that I specifically created. So it's www.dancingpandamarketing.com/San Diego WordPress tutor. So it's no accident that I used that URL, because Google likes to see the URL containing the key phrase that you're going after. And so I want to show you a little bit more about Yoast. And so Yoast is cool. It's sort of like a coach. What it does is when you start building content, and after you've got Yoast installed, is it basically coaches you on what you're doing right with the page and where you need improvement. And so one of the first things that you do when you're with Yoast is you tell it, okay, analyze whatever phrase you want. You put it here in the focus key phrase field. So of course I put San Diego WordPress tutor. And then once you've built your content, then you start to analyze your content by clicking there. And so what Yoast does is it analyzes that specific page on 15 different criteria. And it grades each of those criteria sort of like a traffic light. So if it's red, that's bad. If it's green, that's good. And if it's yellow, you're like in the middle, you're like halfway there. So you can see the criteria are outbound links, image key phrase, images, and so on. So once you understand what these different items are, it's really not that difficult to get all of those lights to turn to green. The analogy I like to use is if you are smart enough to pick up a cookbook and prepare a dish based on a recipe, then you have the intellectual ability to optimize a page of content with Yoast. It really is not rocket science. It's just a matter of going with their recommendations. So one of the things that is probably, in my opinion, that is the most difficult about this type of process is the text length. A lot of times people will ask me to optimize a page of content and it has very little content. Google likes to see, it kind of depends on who you ask, but a minimum, some people will say 300 and others will say 500 words of content. So coming up with enough content can definitely be a challenge. So in a nutshell, that's basically all you have to do. And so let me ask the group if, well, let me also say this. Okay, so in terms of getting a #1 ranking on Google, this sometimes is not enough. If you you can do all these and get all these as green, and then you have to wait for Google to come through the site. It might take a week or two, and then you'll check and you'll see, hey, I'm not #1. Maybe you're #2, maybe you're #3, maybe on the second page of Google. And so there are other things that Google is looking for, but the content is part of it. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to get #1 on Google, but it is putting your very best foot forward. I mean, the other things that Google likes to see are things related to your website. It wants to make sure that your site is running quickly. If you have a very slow running site, you're going to be penalized for that. Google wants to make sure that your site has not been marked, as a spammy site. It's not a spammy domain. Google also likes to see that you have consistency with your name, address, and phone number between the site and wherever you're listed on social media, whether it's Facebook or Yelp, Google My Business. So it's not the only thing, and it's not a guarantee, but I can tell you that it makes optimizing for that specific page, it just simplifies the process. So let me stop sharing for a second. And I want to make sure, is what I'm saying, is it making any sense? Do you have any specific questions? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, so far so good. Chuck, quick question for you. And maybe this is more of like an SEO concept of like beliefs. And like you said, it might be, depending on who you ask, you might get a different answer. Does Yoast ever tell you if there's too many words on a page? Do you believe there's 3,000 is too much for a certain keyword query, or what do you have to say about too many words?
You know what? I love that question. Do you know why? Because I don't know. No one's ever asked me that before. And so the reason I love that question is because I'm here to learn too. I don't have all the answers. So thank you for asking that. And I'm self-taught on SEO, and so Google is my best friend. When I can't figure something out, I Google it. So I'm going to put in your question and see if we can come up with an answer. Is it possible to have too much content on a page for SEO? And I'll see if I can get a quick answer. If I can't, then maybe I'll do some more research later and get back to you. It says, yes, creating too much content is bad for your SEO as it will compete with itself. If you're writing about a similar topic a lot, you'll have a bigger, well, yeah, that would be if you're trying to have multiple pages going after the same keyword, because you can cannibalize your own keywords. If you focus your articles on the same topics, okay, so yeah, that doesn't tell me that yes is the correct answer. Too much content is bad for your SEO. that might be the same one as this snippet. Let's see if I click there. But on that content, or on that topic of content, one thing you do have to be aware of is duplicated content. Google does not want to see duplicated content. So if you copy some content from a well-established website and you paste it into your own website and it's identical, that's actually going to hurt your website. Duplicated content is a no-no. So yeah, I think this is basically the same. So I would say, okay, this is what Yoast says. So that's what Yoast says on this. Is there such a thing as too much high quality content? Some bloggers consistently write awesome content. Everything they create is of the highest quality. Does that mean that these bloggers never have to clean up their website? Well, we have some bad news. Even if your content is really great, you could still have too much of it. In this post, I'll tell you why. Okay, so because it's already 12:24, I'm gonna post this link in the chat of Meetup, not Meetup, of Zoom. So if you want to read about it more, Alex. So thank you for asking that. I'm gonna dive deeper into it, but that's a great question. But I mean, I've been doing this for, gosh, when I start, 2013, and I've never seen Yoast has never said you have too much content. I've never heard anyone say this website has too much content. So I think the answer is not usually. So thanks again for asking that. Any other, okay, so Sky wrote, hey Chuck, what was the plugin that shows Moz domain authority, referring domain, et cetera, at the bottom of the Google? Oh, okay, so yeah, that's a great question. Let me share my screen. And so there's different ways to get that information. And so the tool that I use is actually called Keywords Everywhere, and it's powerful. So not sure what I did wrong there. Let me go to a Google search, and if I do, let's try something like Las Vegas nightlife. So what Keywords Everywhere will do is for any keyword that you put in, it will show you the search volume. So yeah, there's a significant search volume for Las Vegas nightlife, what the cost per click is, the competition. I think this is what you were asking. And then yeah, so yeah, it will show you the domain authority for each of the results. So yeah, Keywords Everywhere is pretty cool because it's inexpensive. I didn't spend a lot of money with them, and then they give you like 10,000 searches, and then you have to pay like another $10. And I'll post the link for that if you want to sign up for it. I think it's worthwhile, and it has a Chrome extension, so every time you do a search, it automatically puts it in there. So yeah, it's Keywords Everywhere, and I hope that's what you were asking with the question. Sky, did that answer your question that I'm using Keywords Everywhere? Okay, you're welcome. So let's see, what other questions does anyone have about the Yoast plugin? So I actually have a question. Okay, so Sky writes, does Yoast directly reflect what Google crawls? On some of our website pages, Yoast doesn't recognize certain categories like text length. It'll say there's a 39 words, and then there's other text as well. So no, I mean, Yoast doesn't reflect what Google crawls because there's a delay. So if you update the page, Google's not going to see that right away. I mean, you can force Google to crawl with Google Search Console, but generally, if you just wait for Google to come through, there's going to be a disconnect between what Google has crawled and what Yoast is actually just looking exactly at the content that as it currently appears on the website. So I'm not sure. I haven't seen that text length issue. I think it might be because of how our WordPress layout was coded. Okay, but if you want to share your screen and show us that page, I could take a look at it. I don't know. I haven't noticed that problem. It could also be if you, with your website, if you're using some caching software, sometimes you have to clear the cache. So with the cache, that can throw things off. It's not always showing the current version. Do you ever add a meta description into Yoast on WordPress page? And then when you see your page in the results of Google, it has a different meta description? Yes, and that's a great question. And so, yeah. And so Google, Google could show whatever meta description they want, right? It's their website. And so it doesn't always show the meta description that you want it to. And so why it does that is because in Google's opinion, their meta description is better. I mean, Google's goal is to be the best search engine that's out there and to keep you coming back the next time you search. So if you write, or it could be your meta description is just too spammy. Google doesn't like spammy. If if you put something like, you got to be careful about using the word free or just like spammy stuff in that meta description. Could, Google might flag that and say, that's spammy. So they're just going to put whatever they think, pulling from the content. And then, so I actually had a question for Juan, if he's still on there. Juan, are you, with what you're doing with WordPress, are you optimizing just Spanish or Spanish and English or something else?
Well, at the moment only for Spanish, but once somebody asked me for a site which had Spanish and English when you click the button, but at the end I didn't work with that. I mean, the client did not work with me, so I did not do that. But at the moment it's on Spanish.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, I actually have a few clients that are actually chiropractic offices, and they have a lot of Spanish speaking clients. So I optimize them for, I think the word is chiropractico in their area. And so, bilingual is important. If you got to know your market and the languages. So that's interesting. So, sorry, I'm getting a phone call, but I'm looking at the time and I see that it's 12:30. So I'm happy to keep going, but if Alex, if you want to open it up to general SEO masterminding, I don't want to be a pig with the time, if you know what I mean.
You're not a pig at all, Chuck. That was awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, man. That was really cool.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Nice to hear from a legitimate WordPress tutor. In fact, from the source. So that was awesome. Thanks a bunch for going deep. That was really cool. It's just when you think a little plugin in and out, then you hear some questions that you hadn't thought of and you learn something else. So that's what this stuff is all about, these kind of meetings. So thank you everyone for participating, throwing in your questions, and Chuck, awesome job for diving deep and answering those. A lot of value for sure. So next we're going to kind of open it up to general SEO struggles. How can you get the most out of an SEO meeting or any Zoom meeting or any Meetup meeting? You let out what you're dealing with, your biggest struggles, and more than likely there's someone else in the group who has dealt with it or knows someone who's dealt with it, and they know a solution, or they can direct you in a certain way. They can refer you to a certain tool, like that keyword tool. I'd heard of that once before, and I just kind of forgot about it, and I'm going to download it after we're done as a Chrome extension. So little things like that you can pick up. I'll open it up to Sky, Stacy, and Juan off the cuff. What's your guys' biggest challenge, if any, that you can just think of, whether it's for your SEO clients, for your website that you're working on, or anything within that realm? Feel free to jump in if you guys have anything that you can think of.
Yes, thank you. Well, I have the problem, or maybe my question is, I don't know how to do it, because as I understand, what I do with my clients is that I ask them that they give me all the information. And with that, I mean the text that have the posts or the pages and also the image. But and with the text, that's what I understand. We have to optimize, for example, what we just say with Yoast SEO, and to get that green. But the clients do not give me that text. So how can I better rank if they don't give me the text? What can I do?
So I want to jump in and share with you one, what I've used on a number of occasions, because getting the content, yeah, it can be tough because a lot of times the client, I mean, they hired you because they're busy. If they had time, they might just do it themselves, but they're very busy. And then other clients, they just don't, they're not good at writing. They don't, so it's tough for them. So I've actually used Fiverr. I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr, to have people write and there's specific people on Fiverr that write SEO content. Now, I've never tried to do it for Spanish, but in English, I've had some success. And yeah, so Sky's writing Upwork. Yeah, Upwork is also a good place to do that. And so, I've worked with a few people on Fiverr that for less than $20, they've written 300 words of content related to a specific keyword, and they know about SEO. And so the content that they send, it's okay. Sometimes you have to change it a little bit. It's not perfect, but for $20, you can get started and then you can massage that content to continue. Because yeah, that is the struggle sometimes, getting the content from the client.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll check that websites.
Chuck, how about you? What what's your biggest struggle nowadays? You've been in SEO for a number of years. You got the top ranking, which brings you some organic leads for clients for WordPress. What nowadays, since you have so much experience, do you still find like you could improve on, or you're struggling with, or anything in that regard?
So let me share with you a current client that I have, and this person is in Encinitas, which is in San Diego County, and he called me recently, and I always ask, how did you get my number? And he said, oh, I was on Google and I typed in San Diego WordPress help. So actually I come up under that one too. And so he basically needs he needs everything. He needs not just a website, but he needs SEO, he needs content. He wants to build out his Instagram. He wants to build out his Facebook. He wants to do a YouTube channel. And so I can do all those things, but, and he needs someone to write content for him. But I mean, my forte is really WordPress and SEO, and those other things I'm okay at. But so I've actually referred him to some people that I know that do content and social media marketing. And this is who I was referring to earlier, that I don't know if he hired this friend of mine that does it. So, a lot of times I need help with some of these bigger projects. So finding people that are going to do a good job and are affordable that I can recommend to other clients, that seems to be an ongoing issue, because the problem is the people that are good, sometimes they're too busy. They can't take on any more clients. And so in a perfect world for me, I have 3 people in each of those areas that I can refer to, because if 2 of them are busy, maybe the third one has some slack in their schedule. So that's one of the reasons I like going on these calls, is to expand my network and be able to refer work over to other people.
How did you find the current people that you have in those buckets?
So the social media person was, she was actually my neighbor and here in OB, and she moved to Montana, and she's actually a friend. So, and then, so the content writer, is someone that I met through the OB networking group, which is actually a group that I started. So yeah, I want to keep expanding my network. You can't know too many people, and to be able to refer people. And what I found too is if you send some good referrals to people, it it pays off because they'll send some leads back to you, or it just maybe not that person, but someone else will. So it's good karma to spread it out. And also I travel a lot. A lot of times I'm just, I can remember, I know a lot of WordPress people, but where was I? I was on my way to Yellowstone and I got a call from someone and they needed help with WordPress like that day. And I'm like, I, I'm driving. I can't, my wife is with me. I can't, pull over to Starbucks and help them. So, you got to strike when the iron is hot. So you get a lead, someone that's calling, especially if they're saying, I need this fixed right away. In that case, I want to refer that. I don't want that lead to go to waste. They found me somehow and I want to help that person find who they need. So yeah, you refer a lot of people to other people, it comes back to you, definitely karma wise.
Yeah, totally agree. Hard to provide service when you're driving through Yellowstone, passing Buffalo, and probably don't have service on your phone. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, right. I mean, it's like I feel like that's probably similar in a lot of industries, right? It's like if you're in real estate and trying to refer to a lender or a title company, it takes a while to find the good ones, and the good ones are oftentimes super busy, like you mentioned. Yeah, I feel like, and I guess it really depends on what that client needs, right? It's like if they need content, is it just 300-word blog posts once a week? Because that's pretty easy to outsource and kind of streamline a little bit more. Or is it more robust and they're looking for the mega pages, the pillar posts? Same thing with social media. It's like, you have the tools that can automate them, but you still have to write them at least once or whatever to automate the post. But what do they really, really need out of that campaign? So kind of starts there. But I agree, it's a struggle to find people in all those buckets. So hopefully we can grow that. That would be awesome if we could just find more people to that fit all those buckets, and then kind of grow as a community.
Definitely. And then there's sometimes there's just some people I just don't connect with. Like I don't know, you're just the vibe's not there, and I'm selective. Like if I'm not connecting with someone, I'll refer them because life's too short to work with people that you don't enjoy. Sometimes I just don't. I mean, I like most people, but there's some people or maybe they don't like me. I don't know. But I want to refer them to someone that maybe could help them. So there's that as well.
Well said. Yeah, life is short. If the vibe's not there, go in the other direction. I love that. How about Stacy and Sky? Anything that you guys are struggling with, or I mean, are you both? Sounds like you're both kind of working on social media stuff, but also the website to a degree. What are some things that you're looking, or do you have any goals for the website? You're interested in SEO at least a little bit, but what are you guys struggling with, interested in doing, or how what's going on in your world? Let's see. Oh, this is a long one. We're trying to widen our sales funnel and rank for a new keyword to build more leads for a specific product. Got it. We're thinking of creating its own web page and a blog post. Is this a good start? How else could we improve? Good question. I would say it depends on your current website. Like, you don't have to start a new website if it's, similar to what you guys are already offering. But it's hard to say that as a blanket statement, though. It really does depend on whatever your product is, and then whatever this sub product is, or this other product that's slightly related. If you can share that stuff with us now, we can maybe provide a little more our opinions on what we think. If not, no worries too. But in general, and if you're typing, I'll just keep talking. But in general, I would say try to use your own the existing website, especially if it already has some authority. Age is a huge factor with ranking. So if your domain is older, or you've had it for a couple of years, that'll help. And then the authority obviously will help pass through that subpage. So it's, domain.com/ and then your new product. I think that's fine. And I would just use the keyword tool that Chuck showed us, and that'll show, how much the search volume, the difficulty, and then the links and domains that all your competitors have who rank number one on that, or who rank on that page for that term. That'll give you a good idea of how hard it is to rank for that search term. If it's something like Las Vegas nightlife, it's going to be pretty tough. But it really just depends. So that will also give you some clarity on what to do. If it's something that's easy to rank for, it might save you more time just to do it on your current website, build a page, look at the other pages that are ranking on number one, how many words are they writing, and then use your Yoast plugin to write longer than them. You want to write longer and better, and then see how many backlinks they have, try and build a couple good backlinks, and see what Google says from there. Chuck, what do you have to say about their question?
Oh, I agree with everything you said. And then, so let's chat about backlinks for a second, because it's hard to get good backlinks, and you want a backlink coming from a site that has good domain authority. And I actually found a really good YouTube video that gives some great ideas. I think on this notepad, yeah, I wrote it down. So, and I'm going to find that video, the YouTube video, and post it in the chat. It's going to take me a second, but basically he talks about some sites to get good backlinks from, and I'll just read them off real quick. You've probably heard of most of these, and you may already be doing this, but some sites to get good backlinks from: Reddit, Quora, Hive, Steemit. And then I'm getting actually with Meetup. Actually, Meetup provides a high quality backlink. So if you're running your own meetups, you can post, even probably on our page, post your website link on this SEO page. And then medium.com is a good one for backlink. And then the other one that I get a good backlink from on a regular basis is 92. That's a good score, right, for Meetup. Is Mailchimp. And if you guys don't know about Mailchimp, it's a newsletter system that's free, and it creates, every time you create a newsletter, it creates this mini website with a very high DA. And so I'm getting some good links from that. So I'm gonna put myself on mute and look for that YouTube video that goes in more details on that. There's some additional websites, but yeah, I agreed with, I definitely agreed with everything Alex was saying. He was spot on, but let me find that YouTube link. I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great point, Chuck. Going off of that, as Chuck looks that up, I've also noticed that, and I've heard that Reddit and Quora especially are super good. And just think about it. What do people, like legit people in the world who what do they look for when they look for answers on the internet? They usually look at Reddit. Reddit's like a super trusted source. It's got high authority. It usually doesn't show up in Ahrefs if that's how you look at your backlinks. At least for most of my sites, it doesn't, but it does show up on Google Console if that's how you track your backlinks. So if you're curious how one sticks or not, I usually don't see Quora on Ahrefs. I don't know if it shows up on Google Console to track it, but in any case, Google does take that stuff into account. I totally believe that, because it's a signal that actual people are actually talking about an actual site, providing an actual product, for instance, in Las Vegas or whatever the case is, and that's a good sign to Google for sure. Juan, do you have to build any backlinks for your clients, or are you more on the content and website side, did you say?
No, actually, that is another problem that I have, that I know that we need, or a website needs a backlink, but the way that I was thinking is, for example, I have a client that, or a prospect client, it's not my client yet, that he makes films. I'm not pretty sure how to say it in English, but let's suppose that somebody makes a movie, and he hires this person for going to, he's in Cancun, in Quintana Roo, that zone, and you take a scene on the beach or something like that. So he helps you with that. He takes the scenes, he makes the permissions that you need for the government and so on. But I said, why don't you ask this person, let's suppose that is Sony Pictures, that put a backlink on your website. That's what I was made to get the backlinks. Otherwise, I'm not pretty sure how to get them.
So just to confirm, you're curious what a good strategy is to get this guy backlinks he just creates photos or he creates videos. What was it exactly?
He makes videos. He makes part of the movie. Let's suppose like a scene, or I don't know what part of the movie you're gonna make it. Sony Pictures is gonna make it on Cancun. So you hire this person to help you to do that. And he takes the camera and the lights and the permission and everything you need to make that part of the movie in Cancun, for example, no, or in the pyramid of something.
So he makes Chuck's background.
Exactly. So I asked him, why, to get the backlinks, why don't you ask your clients, that is Sony Pictures, or I don't know which other one, MGM, for example, to set a backlink when he promotes the movie, and then this parallel picture was taken by somebody in Mexico, the name of the company, to get the backlink to the website. So it has a backlink with value, no, and not, because I heard that you can buy the backlinks, but I don't know if that is a good thing to do it or not, and how it works. I have no idea.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful buying backlinks. There's some really spammy sites out there, and if you can actually hurt your website if you get links from some of these spammy sites. So it's you got to proceed with caution. I don't recommend buying backlinks, but people do it. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it hurts you. But yeah, if you could get a backlink from Sony or one of these big companies, that's what it's all about.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Juan, what I would do is like an action step. If he has a connection or contact with them, just have like him or you email their contact at Sony or whatever. And you could first say like, hey, we did part of the stuff. We created part of these videos, whatever. If you can, like, if they're posted somewhere on Sony's website, you can always ask like, hey, can you just add like a little bio and give us credit for it? You can always try that. Or another way, you can just ask them, hey, we're writing some more content for brand awareness. We would love to write a post for your website. It's free content. You can post it on Sony.com or whatever it is, whatever their website is, and then just try and get credit that way. But you already have the connection since he's already working with them. So it's a lot cleaner of like a guest post outreach type thing.
Just actually, to make my question more accurate, is who has to do that? I know, as let's say, as a SEO professional, that we need backlinks, but who has to make to ask in this case the client, that it could be Sony, to get the backlink, to put the backlink in the website, to point to the website I'm building, the client, or I have to do it? Who has how is it, the responsibility to do that?
Responsibility, right? Chuck, you work with lots of clients. How would you define that responsibility between one and the other?
Well, I would say you get it done however you can. You know, every situation's different. And if I was in your shoes and I contacted Sony, they don't know me. They're probably not even going to open my email. So yeah, I think it depends. But I mean, for me, I work on an hourly basis. So if the client wants me to work on it, that's more billable hours. And so I don't know how you're doing it. But yeah, however you can get it done, whatever it takes, and it's not easy because, you think about like the webmaster at Sony, that person's busy and they probably get more emails. They probably don't open a lot of the emails that they get. So it's tough. It really is. But if you go on some of these other sites like Quora and some of the ones mentioned in that YouTube video, that you can have control over. You can go and create an account on each of those, and then you have more control over the process and higher probability of getting it done.
Okay, thank you very much for your advice.
De nada.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, don't buy backlinks that are spammy. Just to reiterate that, that's a good way to tank your website really quick. There's a couple different ways to know if backlinks are spammy, but basically a generality is don't buy them on Fiverr is like a good like commandment to live by. Don't buy Fiverr backlinks because they're $5 and you get 200 of them and they're crap. So don't do that. But yeah, start with that low hanging fruit one. Definitely. I mean, if you can get some link from Sony, that'd be huge. To Chuck's point, right? They might not answer your email. They don't know who you are. Maybe have your client email them. And even if your client's like giving you pushback, just write the email for him. Be like, dude, just literally copy and paste this, press send. It's going to help you. You want to grow your business, don't you? This will help. So I would do that. Yeah, start there. That sounds like the most low-hanging fruit. And then there's all sorts of different backlink strategies, as Chuck alluded to, the video I'm sure describes, and that we could do like multiple sessions on backlink strategies. But I do want to ask Chuck a question for you because you brought up Reddit before. I've tried to get backlinks from Reddit and sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. Really depends on, I guess, how I wrote it and the Reddit subreddit and all that. Do you have any tips, anything that you've had better success with when trying to get Reddit backlinks?
I've actually never tried. It's on my list of things to work on, but no, I don't know. I haven't tried that. So it's, yeah, with like anything in technology, you have to test and see what works. But yeah, sorry, I don't have any more information on that. But
No
there might be
worries.
there might be a Reddit thread on how to get a backlink from Reddit.
I bet there is. Yeah. If you ever try it, let me know. My experience really quick is some stick, some don't at all. What I found that works best is if you write a really long comment with like 7 links in it. So yours kind of like fits in with those 7 other links, and the other 7 links are like, a study or this or that. And just obviously I try and make it natural, non-spammy, and actually add value to that conversation. Those are the ones that I've had better success with versus just like, if you write 2 sentences, only 1 link, like clearly you're trying to get that link, So that's at least some success I've had on Reddit.
That's interesting. So Alex, what challenges are you having with your SEO?
Lots. No, things are going good, but just looking to expand. So Chuck, I would love to like dive deep with you at some point for chiropractic stuff. On a high level with that, I have my wife ranked for certain things. We started, and I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, looking back at it, but we want to get her ranked for a lot of different North County cities. So we have city pages for all of those, and they all do okay. 3 are on page 1 for North County cities, but they're all like, it's like Del Mar, which doesn't get searched at all because it's super tiny, right? So we haven't had like we don't have any first or number 1 rankings for city pages. So I'm just trying to figure out what it needs next. I'm willing to test and try and put in the effort and the hours. I just don't know what would create the quickest benefit that I should do next. And that's probably like, I need to dive deep with you to figure that out, really.
Yeah, let's do that. So I do offer a 1-hour free consultation for new clients. So we can start there and see what we can get done. I'd be happy to do that. So yeah, let's compare calendars at some point and we'll make it happen.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. And then my other website is a real estate website, and we're trying to take it to a different state as well, and then also get national keywords ranked. And that's just really hard that we found. We've just been doing this the past month. So some of the new state keywords haven't really taken it all. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, is Google just going to not let us go to this different state because it's far away, or what else we need to do to show Google to get ranked in the other state.
Yeah, when a business moves, it's horrible for SEO because all the name, address, phone number, all that stuff has to be updated, and it takes a while to do all that. So yeah, unfortunately, that creates a lot of extra work for SEOs.
Yeah, so thankfully we didn't move. We still have I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and all our business is in Pennsylvania, and we're trying to expand to California as well. So I have like some California city pages and things like that, and some are taking, but some just like, and I haven't built many links to them or any at all really. So they're still kind of new, but just curious if there's like general good practices to follow when doing something like that.
Well, I know real estate is a lot harder than chiropractic. because
Mhm.
the realtors have a lot bigger budgets, right? And there's so many realtors, so it's tough. It is for sure.
Agreed. Sky and Stacy, any other final thoughts from the Vegas gals before we wrap this meeting up? And you guys have been great on the chat, so thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Right on. Us too for sure. Juan, any final thoughts from you, my man, from down south on anything else we didn't cover or things you had questions on?
No, at the moment, I think for starting is a good tip that you gave me that I learned from the Yoast and the front backlinks, and with that I have so much to learn more for now on. Thank you very much.
Sure. It's a team sport. Cool.
Hey, well, thanks to Alex for setting this up. I thought it was good, and I look forward to some future meetings.
Yep, likewise. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Look at the meetup group for future meetings, events, information, all that good stuff. Feel free to yeah, I should have my email to like the meetup group. Or just message me on Meetup for now if you need something. Or put it in the discussion on the meetup group, and we can always take things from there. But again, thank you, everyone. Chuck, do you want to stay on for another minute so we can have a recap and then close out our day as well? Okay. All right. Well, we're all set. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, Juan. We will see you guys at the next one. Thanks for joining.
Okay, no, on contrary, thank you very much to you. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Juan. Take care. Adios.
Adiós. Gracias. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
All right. Let me end the recording too.
That's a great idea.